In our readings from 2 Kings 4, we see incredible hospitality of a couple that provided place for Elijah's prodigy, Elisha. They provided him with food and housing every time he passed through. They sensed he was a man of God. And what I love about this story is that they did this not to gain anything, but just because. And I have had the pleasure of being a co-chair of the Together in Christ Capital Campaign. And this story has replayed in my mind as I have met with so many of you. What this couple did is what God asks of us, to give from our heart with no expectations. And that is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing men and women and couples praying and giving from the bottom of their hearts, just like this woman. She did not expect anything in return, and I know you also do not. But I also know our great God. I know what a generous God He is. I have personally experienced this generosity. Year after year, my husband and I would sit down and do our budget at the beginning of the year, and together we were not quite on the same page where we would agree about what percentage to give the church. We continued to pray year after year, and finally God moved in our hearts and we reached an agreement. At that same time, I quit to stay home with our son, who we had tried to have for over 6 years. What a time to start tithing, right? But for God. With one less significant income and a child, God would not be outdone, and He provided far beyond our imaginations and our needs. So much so that I was able to stay home with our son Tyler for 15 years, and we can continue to tithe, and Scott retired at an early age of 55. No one is more generous than God. And as generous as this woman and her husband were by providing for Elisha, God provided far more by giving them a son they could not have. I think that when we live and believe, as Paul explains in our Romans reading, that we are dead to sin and living for God in Christ Jesus, that selfishness, fear, self-control also die. And we can let God take the reins of our life. And when we do this, an incredible thing begins to happen. Just like I explained about myself, our personal story, and from the woman from Shunammite demonstrates. So when we do what Jesus tells us to do in the gospel, which is basically die to self and live for Him, love Him more than you love this life, your goals, even above your own family, then you are living a rightly ordered life. And watch out, because God is going to bless your socks off. If you have not had the opportunity to live a life rightly ordered, God, family, other in this order, then give it a try. And I promise you will find out what I'm talking about. Let God show off a little bit in your life, because He cannot be outdone.